What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, here today to talk about a very interesting release from Criterion Collection, and that is Deep Cover, directed by Bill Duke, Spine number 1086. So yeah, we're going to get into talking about this release, guys, but before we do that, I want to call out the fact that my review structure on this channel is going to change a little bit. As you can already tell, I have a different camera angle. I have a more relaxed demeanor. I've just been thinking about it a lot, and my reviews on my channel are the thing that I'm probably the most self-conscious about, because when I do them, I often think of myself like, what am I really offering to the physical media collecting community? There's so many people that do so many reviews on this platform, a lot of which are just better than mine in my eyes. So what am I really offering you guys when I talk about these releases? And I more or less just decided on the fact that I don't want to give like any specific scoring criteria anymore. I don't want to tell you whether or not you should wait for a sale or buy it right now or wait for the Dollar Tree dumpster bin. Anything like that. Again, I am going to tell you the price. I'm going to tell you just like all the contents in it. Just overall, was I satisfied with this package? I will break it down in that sense, but I'm not going to be giving a definitive score to these releases anymore, because to be honest, I just don't feel comfortable doing it, and I don't enjoy doing it. I just want to kind of talk about these movies in just a more casual, laid back kind of way. Just like I'm talking about it to a friend or something. It's just, that's the way that I want to kind of do these reviews going forward. And again, it's something that in 2 weeks, I might change my mind. I might go back to the old way. But right now, this is just what I want to do. I'm still going to give a review to like the actual movie, because I usually score it on Letterboxd, so I'll just share that with you guys, which if you're not following me on Letterboxd, definitely hit that link down below. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that stuff off my chest. Again, and not going to do a scoring criteria anymore. These reviews are just going to be more laid back. I'm going to share some facts with you. I've got stuff wrote down. I have notes written down, but it's, you know, I'll refer to them if I need them, but if I don't, I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to speak off the cuff here, because another thing I was finding is while I'm watching these movies, I'm just thinking about like what I'm going to say about it. I'm not really like experiencing the film and digesting what I'm seeing on screen. It's more or less just like, what do I want to talk about that's interesting, that's different from what other people may be talking about. And what I'm finding is usually when I do my reviews, I don't watch anybody else's reviews, because I don't want to take anything from them, whether it's intentional or non-intentional. But then I talk about the movie and I get my review out there, and then I watch other people's reviews and I find that they're all saying the same thing about it that I am. So the only thing I can do that's different is just the way I present my thoughts and opinions, and just how I talk to you guys about these releases. Because like I said, there's a lot of work that's put into these by so many different companies. These boutique labels put so much quality and effort and work into these releases. And I don't want to trash them. I don't want to tell you whether or not or you should buy it or not, or whether or not it's worth the price, because so much work is put into it by so many great people. And I'm just thankful that we have all of these releases to talk about. So that was a little bit long-winded. And again, if you're joining me for the very first time, if the Deep Cover review was the first video of mine that you clicked on, I'm sorry. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do all kinds of content on this channel, Blu-ray hunting, reviews like this, physical media report every single Monday. So hit that subscribe button. Also, guys, be sure to like this video. I would definitely appreciate that. And turn on those bell notifications for future videos. So let's get into this movie, guys. Let's talk about this Criterion release. This is an amazing cover on this release. Definitely the most striking thing about it when it was announced. I was like, God, that is just such a gorgeous cover with just like the blues and the purples and everything. It's so incredible. And when this movie was announced, a lot of people were like, wow, that's a little bit of a off release for the Criterion Collection. Like, they don't usually release movies like this. It's more like, it's mostly classic films. It's mostly like modern classic films. But to go back and to just use some weird, obscure crime thriller from the early 90s was a little off-center. But you got to respect Criterion for going after these movies that maybe other companies wouldn't necessarily go after. So Deep Cover was a movie from 1992. I have memories of this movie from my childhood. I watched it when I was a child. I know I did. I didn't remember a thing about it. So, but my first memory of it was seeing a trailer of it in the Freddy's Dead VHS tape, because this was released by New Line Cinema. Freddy's Dead, of course, released by New Line. So there was a trailer for this movie in front of that. So I always remember that trailer right before I watched Freddy's Dead on VHS, which I'm almost ashamed to say that I did a lot when I was a kid. Directed by Bill Duke. And, you know, growing up, I never really knew the directors and stuff. Bill Duke is a pretty great actor from like the 80s and even the 90s. He still acts today as well as directs. So he directs a lot of TV, but the thing that is most notable, at least the thing I recognize him from the most, is Predator. He's in Predator. He's one of the people that are hunting the Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he has a very distinctive look to him. So it's like when I saw him in the special features, I was like, oh, that's Bill Duke. I know who Bill Duke is, the guy from Predator. And you know, he's been in some other stuff too, but definitely a really solid film from Bill Duke. It's a crime thriller. It's a little bit of a neo-noir, kind of film noir type of movie. It has Lawrence Fishburne, who plays the cop character of Russell Stevens. It has Jeff Goldblum, who plays like a businessman, almost like attorney, a cocaine trafficker. Like he plays a lot of different things in one. And basically, Russell Stevens is tasked with going to LA and trying to bring down this crime organization, which Jeff Goldblum is affiliated with. And he kind of gets in with his relationship with Jeff Goldblum. So as for the movie itself, guys, I did enjoy this one quite a bit. It's not like what I would call a masterpiece. It's a solid movie, and I love Jeff Goldblum and Lawrence Fishburne's chemistry in it. I mean, even he's actually called Larry Fishburne in this movie. I think he kind of changed that over time, but I love their performances. I love their chemistry together. It's almost like kind of like a buddy cop, almost a little bit comedic there in certain aspects in the movie. And yeah, I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I liked all the side characters. There's a little bit weird, some weird editing here, some weird off like scene transitions. I know one that somebody posted it on Instagram, but basically this girl gets murdered, not to spoil anything, but it gets murdered in front of Lawrence Fishburne. And then they like cut with a guy like walking, and it kind of creates the scene transition. And then you cut to Jeff Goldblum and Lawrence Fishburne sitting on a car. So it's a very weird transition. And you notice that a lot throughout this film. It almost feels like they're not allowing like these scenes to breathe or just really play out. It's just kind of moving from one event to the other. So it's a little bit awkward editing that kind of, in my opinion, hurts the movie a little bit. I would have liked to have seen some of these films play out, kind of feel the emotion, the emotional weight of those scenes as they play out. But I don't know, it's a cool movie. It's got a really cool setting. It's got a cool aesthetic to it. It's engaging. It thrills you, keeps you invested. You know, it's Goldblum's really great in the movie, as is Lawrence Fishburne. You know, you don't get to see Goldblum in a more like villainous type role, which is kind of what I would say he turns into by the end of this movie. And yeah, it just has a really cool like charm and appeal and aesthetic to it. No, and it has a lot to say about like Black culture and race relations as it pertains to like what was going on in the early 90s in LA. So there's a lot going on in this movie. I believe it's a very important movie just for like Black cinema in general, of which they talk about extensively in the special features. And yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Again, it's not like a great film, but it's an important movie and it's a good movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So let's get into just talking about the packaging on this release a little bit, and I'll cut to a little bit of unboxing like I usually do. I'm not changing everything with these reviews, but yeah, this is a really spectacular case. I love this case. You get the special features, all that good stuff on the back. You know, of course, this is spine number 1086. Almost at 36, but you open this up, it's got some really awesome disc art to it. But let me show you all this poster right here, which is well, it's more of like a pamphlet kind of brochure type thing. But I love the artwork right there. I'll kind of zoom in on that image of Jeff and Larry Fishburne right there. It's an incredible image. And then you get that, and you get like the casting and this really cool like color font work and stuff. And yeah, inside you get kind of just some articles on the movie, just kind of like somebody, I think it's somebody's like essay just talking about the film. There's all kinds of people that just hold this movie up when they talk about it as just one of the most important films to them, which I think is really cool. Let's talk about the transfer real quick. Criterion's been doing some stellar work this year. I mean, I've seen this one and Bringing Up Baby, which I may or may not do a review for. And then Fast Times at Ridgemont High was incredible. So the restoration work in this one, this is a new 4K digital restoration. It looks amazing. It looks immaculate. Like honestly, like when I was watching it, I almost felt like it was a 4K quality to it. Like I didn't feel, I just didn't know how it could be any better. It felt like it was at its peak, at its definitive version. It looked amazing. The facial detail, the coloring in this film. Like I said, this movie has a really cool aesthetic. Lots of really cool colors used, like as far as like the purples and blues and stuff like that, and some kind of deep reds in certain sequences. Yeah, I thought this looked amazing. This is definitely a top tier release by Criterion as far as like the quality of it. And getting into the audio, this is a 2.0 surround DTS HD master audio. So again, I'm just listening to it on a soundbar. It sounds incredible to me. This movie has a really cool like soundtrack to it. Of course, like just getting into some facts about this movie, this had Dr. Dre's debut solo song from his solo album, and it's called Deep Cover. So they play that kind of in the beginning of the film. It's just got a really cool score to it, a really cool soundtrack. And yeah, the sound was absolutely phenomenal and stellar. But let's get into what I think is maybe the most impressive thing about this release, or aspect of this release, and that's the special features, guys. Like the special features in this release is just like bar none, just some of the best special features that we've gotten all year for any release. And I often just complain and bitch about this with these studio releases, how they don't add anything new here. And Criterion continues to consistently deliver in just adding like new special features. Like this is what I'm talking about when I go into these reviews of these catalog titles. It's like, give me something, just two people sitting in a room talking about the film's speed for 30 minutes. Like, give me that. I know it's out there. I know there's people that are willing to do it, so why won't you do it? And then put that on the Speed 4K. Just give us something extra, something to chew on, other than just a new transfer. Which may sound selfish, but again, you're paying top tier dollar for these movies. Why can't they give you a little bit something extra? So let me get into what's included here, guys, as far as the special features. So you do get a new interview with director Bill Duke, which is absolutely fascinating. He just kind of talks about how he came up in the business and how he came to direct this movie. It's a great interview. It's like almost 20 minutes long. So right there, guys, in and of itself, worth this purchase. But then on top of that, you get this, well, getting into the AFI Conservatory Seminar from 2018 featuring Duke and actor Lawrence Fishburne, moderated by film critic Elvis Mitchell. This is not a new special feature. This has been out there before, but it's an incredible one. This is from 2018. And it's about 45 minutes long, just this kind of Q&A session with this film critic, and then the audience gets to ask them questions about the movie and stuff. It's a fascinating interview, and just kind of watching Lawrence Fishburne and Bill Duke, just kind of their interplay with each other, and you can just tell like they're friends in real life and they get along. And just talking about this movie and reminiscing about this movie, and just even Bill Duke kind of going into just like how, because they just rewatched the film as like a new screening, just talking about how there were so many things that he noticed that he would like to go back and like fix, or that he wouldn't do today. Just like kind of critiques on his own work. Just showed the real humble nature of Bill Duke and just what kind of person he is and director he is, and I really enjoyed that. But you also get this new conversation between film scholars Raquel J. Gates and Michael B. Gillespie about Deep Cover's place within both the black film boom of the early 1990s and the noir genre. I thought that this was the most stellar special feature of this entire collection right here. The conversation that these two have about this movie and just its place in cinematic history, as it pertains to like the black film movement and stuff like that of the 70s and the 80s and 90s, just the stuff that they get into is so incredibly insightful. It's so incredibly fascinating. I could honestly listen to the two of them talk about film history and stuff for hours, but we only get like 33 minutes of it right here, which is a great special feature. This is all new stuff. So I thought it was a fascinating interview between the two of them. And then on top of that, you also get a another conversation between scholar Claude Durrani and Arnold. Again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names, I tend to do that. And Professor DJ and podcaster Olivia Wong about the film's title track and its importance to the history of hip hop. So this kind of goes into the more musical aspects and the soundtrack of this movie. And I thought this is a phenomenal one as well. Again, another 18 minutes. So right there, guys, you're getting like an hour and 10 minutes of brand new special features and content. And there's no like audio commentaries on this. So that's kind of one negative working against it. But you also get, a theatrical trailer. You get an additional essay by Gillespie, which was in that booklet that I shown. But yeah, just great special features with this release, guys. Overall, I was just super impressed by this release. It's honestly just one of the best releases that I've seen all year, just in terms of like just the packaging and special features. I absolutely recommend picking this one up. And again, it's $20 right now. We got that July 50% off Barnes & Noble sale. So pick it up right now. When it goes back up, it'll probably go up to $27.99 on Amazon, like the usual price. And then $40 on Barnes & Noble, which honestly, I probably wouldn't pay $40 for this. There's not a lot of movies that I would pay $40 for, but I would definitely still pay $27.99 if you're watching this after the sale. I would still recommend picking this one up. It's a phenomenal release. It's an important release, and I'm so happy that Criterion decided to do this one. So with that, guys, we are done with this kind of new style of review. Again, I cover a lot of the same stuff in the same way. It's just a way that I feel more comfortable talking about it. And if this goes a little bit longer, oh well. This is the way that I'm wanting to talk about these movies now. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you like this new review style? Please, guys, let me know in that comment section below. Again, I may change it in 2 weeks. My reviews are the thing that I feel like the most self-conscious about on this channel. So I'm probably going to change them at least 50 more times before it's all said and done. So with that, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. Also follow me on all my social media links down below, and we'll see you next time.